Hello, 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 everybody. I'm going to give myself 1 second just to make sure that I'm live. I was live earlier today and had some tech issues. And so I am praying that that is not going to be the case this time. I think it may have been my settings and that I figured it out. Um, anyway, hello and welcome. If you pop on here, please, please, please say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. We are live on Facebook and YouTube, and I'm just thrilled to have you here. So if you see me for the first time, my name's Michele, and I'm the owner of Vintage Revival Design Co. and Canvas Muse by Michele, and I am in Northern Virginia, and oh my goodness, I am just so excited. I'm going to see if I can see the chats. I'm going to try. Try. And if not, if I don't get back to go back and read the comments and make sure that I answer all of your questions. So I'd love to be able to see the comments though. So I'm going to turn this down real quick. Okay. So I am so excited. A couple of weeks ago, I did a soft launch, soft introduction of a brand new venture to me. It is called Canvas Muse by Michele, and it is a series. It was all out of solving a problem that I've heard so many of you have, in that I don't have time to create. I don't have much time to create. When I do, I don't know where to start. Um, my backgrounds don't look like yours. I just wish I knew what colors to choose, that type of thing. And I thought a lot about that. And I decided that I was going to design backgrounds that I would paint myself and find a way to offer to you so that they would be for your use whenever you have time to create, and you wouldn't have to start from scratch, because creating doesn't have to be hard, and it shouldn't be. And sometimes you just need a little inspiration, a guide. Maybe it's for color or maybe it's for something else, but you just need a place to start and somebody to guide you along the way. So that is what Canvas Muse by Michele is all about. Every single background, the majority of them are just going to start out as backgrounds. And this was to be shown to you later, but I'm going to show you. Each and every single one of the backgrounds that you will receive Canvas Muse by Michele, it starts out as something that is hand painted by me. These are a little crinkly. Hello, Lori. Thank you so much for joining and saying hello. I really appreciate it. And so each of these is hand painted by me, and then I digitize them for you. I do them at a resolution that you'll be able to print up to about an 11 by 14. And then you will be able to print these over and over and over again. Anytime that you decide that you just need a background done for you, you need a place to start, you need something that's coordinated to pull from. And I also was thinking about how I was going to get these to you. And so I was going to do a print type paper, and that is still something that I'm working on for the future. But Canvas Muse by Michele is going to be, as it launches, a subscription, a VIP subscription membership. And this is where every single month you will receive 4 new designs, and they will be delivered to you. You will be able to download them. I will give you the download settings that I use. We will explore printing on a variety of papers, not just rice paper. And we will create at least we will have 2 to 3 tutorials every single month. There will be a Facebook group for you to share your work, ask questions. There will also be a portal which is where the replays and the edited videos and that type of thing will live always. So into this, we may have a better solution so that we're not in a Facebook group, a portal, and all of that, but just in one place. but we have to start somewhere. And so we're just going to do it this way. So I wanted to show you that I did a trial, and I don't want to even move 1 second further without thanking everybody who purchased the trial and completed it and hit that reply button when I sent the follow-up email and shared your thoughts with me. And I am so grateful. I know that sometimes people struggle with technology. I certainly do. I have issues all the time, but I am confident enough that I can help you with the printing of these things from home, or you can get them printed at a Kinko's or a Staples or something like that. We are going to do a little bit of a demonstration. I don't think we'll be able to do a full project tonight, but we're definitely going to do a demonstration. And I really want to see if I can get that. And I'm not sure why I can't. So just know, there we go. Okay, so Sheila is here. Hi. And now I'm seeing the chat, which is great. That makes me feel so much better. So the these papers are hand painted and designed by me. And they are to give you a starting point for kicking off your projects. We are going to explore everything from mixed media to traditional craft projects. So, depending on the type of paper that we are going to be printing these designs on, we will be able to do everything from decoupage to collage to mixed media to working on fabric pieces. I have a variety of substrates, which means our surface that we are going to be able to print with, that I've been experimenting with, trying different ones, and I've found my favorites, and I will be sharing all of that with you. So I am going to put a link to the subscription in the comments. And so that is the information to join our group. And so we are going to launch the first set of papers on December 21st and begin working together and creating together. And so this will be a private group. And I want you to know that I will be there for support every step of the way. I'm really looking forward to creating with a small group of people that really love all the things like I do. We're going to be exploring so many different things. And so I welcome you and invite you. I did send a follow-up email before this official launch to everybody who participated in the trial. Again, thank you so much. I am going to say that one of the things that I learned through the trial was that rather than give a variety of papers that didn't work together, what I've decided to do is each month there's going to be let's call it a collection. So if you're looking at this screen, this is a collection. I cut this one down because we're going to be starting with our demo by working with this one. And these are in progress. I want you to know that all of the papers that are coming in this collection, I'm still trying to narrow it down and decide which ones are going to make the cut. All of these papers, you can see that I used a limited color palette in creating them. And that was to make sure that we had papers and a variety of things to work with that all worked together. So it didn't matter if you were working with this top one and you decided you were going to choose something like this, it's going to work. Or maybe you're going like this and it's going to work. So I used a limited color palette. And so instead of several papers that wouldn't work really necessarily together, we're going to work with collections of papers. So that is one of the pieces of feedback that I received from a trial participant. And I'm so, so grateful for that. It makes it easier for me too. So that's really great because then I can choose the projects. We'll probably do them. I'll be looking at what the upcoming seasons are and that type of thing. But I welcome you to join us. We're kicking off on the 21st. The trial subscription is going to be $27 a month until the first of the year. And so I welcome you to join us. Before I raise that, I want to get in here and learn even more. And I'm just really excited. So don't think that you're the guinea pigs because you're not. The trial was really to get me some some feedback. Hello, Shannon. I'm so happy to see you. Thank you so much for joining. And it was really for me to get some feedback. And I am so appreciative of everybody who took the time to do that. So anyway, imagine that you have gotten 4 to 6 papers, and we're just going to do a quick little kind of a mixed media project together. And again, these aren't the finals. I think this one is one of the ones. So we're going to start with that one. And it was that I wanted getting these pre-made backgrounds. You are able to just begin. And I'm going to talk with you about colors that I used so that you can pull from those if you would like. We'll look at different values of the color and all of that, and we'll explore. Again, we will definitely be doing a mixed media project. We'll also be doing a craft type project that you see me do a lot of. But I want you to be able to use these along with the supplies that you already have. So tonight we're going to be with one of the papers, probably a couple of them. We're going to be with a Roy cycled stencil and some IOD stamps. And so this particular background that I hand painted and then digitized is printed on an A4 sheet of rice paper. And when it comes, I print it as a full page, but it still comes with a little bit of a border. My printer does not do completely borderless printing. I would need to take it to a Staples or something like that to get the full borderless printing. So I am going to start with this one, and I've printed it on this rice paper. This happens to be a slightly off-white. It's not a bright white rice paper. So the color is going to reflect that. So that's another exciting thing about working with these digital designs is that depending on the paper or the canvas or whatever it is that we're going to be printing on, fabric, whatever, you're going to get a little bit of a different look depending on what you are painting it on. So just like I would typically decoupage anything, I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm just going to grab, I've got a million different decoupage mediums I could use. I'm just going to grab one. So I'm going to start to put some decoupage down here and use my brush. I'm working on an uneven surface. So this is an 8x10 canvas board. And I'm going to need to make sure that I really get my medium down in there to the crevice, because as we all know, this is got some texture to it, but we want to make sure that our medium gets in there, right? Push this down. I have, and I've got a little to foot-toots with this bit, and I want to make sure that it covers my entire canvas. Okay. And so I'm going to use my plastic wrap just to decoupage that into place. And like every other decoupage paper kind of thing, we want to make sure that we are getting our edges. That is super important, right? So all of a sudden, what we're creating paper is just a background that we can begin. So a lot of times backgrounds take a lot of time, and that is where people get frustrated because they need a place to start and begin. And again, that is the whole idea behind Canvas Muse by Michele, aside from just being able to create with you and create projects and explore different techniques. So I'm going to lay this down and use now I print on an inkjet printer. Mine is an Epson EcoTank, and I have not had any issues with bleeding. If you do have issues, we will address that because there are non-toxic fixatives that you can use. And it also helps to let your paper dry, so you might want to download your printables and get them all printed and then let them sit overnight. So you can see I'm going right over this with my medium, and I'm not getting any bleeding of my ink. So this is not a laser printer. It's an inkjet printer, an EcoTank printer that I have. And I would be happy to share the model that I have. It's an older one. So there might be a better deal on it. Mine is, I think it's 4 years old. I was doing something with it today, and it said that the first print I made on it was in 2020. So it's about 4 years old. So I've got a little bit, I need a little more medium here. I can tell because it's lifting up a little bit. I'm going to be super gentle with my paper because I'm going over wet medium. And I'm going to smooth that down just like that. And we're going to get it dry. And then we are going to dry this off. And then we'll get on to the next step. So hi, Kimberly. How are you? Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I so appreciate it when you just take a second to say hello. I really do appreciate that so much. Okay, so what I've done is I have created a little bit of a stack of some things that we can work with. And then just like another normal decoupage project, we're going to go ahead and sand off the edges of this. I put my water in the kitchen, so I already forgot something. So I may have to wrap my paper in, or wrap my brush in some paper. So these were just done with a lot of texture and a limited color palette. And oh, Keely, thank you so much. I really appreciate that so much. So again, you'll find the link to sign up for the subscription, and that price is in effect until the first of the year. And it might be a little bit longer, but I don't think so. And so we are going to get started. The first set of papers will be available on the 21st of December. And I'm going to be putting some little bonuses in there because I know that that is late in the month and we've all got Christmas. So we'll be making up for a little lost time in January, but I promise to make up that difference for you. I'm very, very excited about it. All right, so this is pretty dry. I'm just going to take some other plastic wrap that I have and wrap my brush up so that it doesn't get, I really don't want that to dry on my brush. That would be bad. All right, so I'll put my sealer away. I love these glass mats too. I usually work on a silicone mat, but I'm working on my glass mat today. So I'm just going to get my little sanding block. We'll sand off that paper, and then we're going to get to the next step. I think, no, I didn't swear, but just like we do on another project, we're just going to sand in a downward motion. I need to replace the sanding paper on this, but we're just going to take this paper off. All right, on there. So how is everybody doing? Are you ready for the holidays? And I'm hoping some of my trial subscription people will be able to make it. I know it's a really weird time to be live 6 o'clock on a Saturday night, but it'll be available on replay. And you can ask your questions in there and I'll come back and answer. So I'm not going completely in a downward motion, and my paper isn't great, or my sanding block isn't great. So I keep forgetting to change the paper out on this. Okay. So let's see, we have, okay. And Kimberly, I'm so excited to get your little, I saw that it got posted in the group, and I'm so excited to get your little template so I can practice. Let me see if I've got a better sanding block. I don't know if this one's any better or not. Oh, this is just as bad. So just bear with me, guys. I have a dull here. And my white canvas is exposed a little bit on the edges underneath, but I think that's fine because we can always ink those. But really the idea of this is we already have a background that we don't have to create, that is already there, that gives us a guide for color and inspiration from there. And I thought we would do something a little simple with a stencil and then some IOD flowers. I pulled out the sunflower stamp, which is one of my favorites. I love the peonies and the chrysanthemums and the sunflowers and all of that. Okay, so I've got a little bit to do here. And then this is the boring part. I probably should have done this, but I wanted you to see how you can just decoupage it. I'm just going to kind of go from there. All right, so I'm going to just save these little scraps just like I would any other type of paper. So now we have this background and it already has a lot of the texture that we need. I'm going to do this way. Let me know if you can see okay. So I thought that we could do something. I wanted to show you, this was one of the projects that we did in the trial. And so this is a background paper that was in the trial that we're able to download. And we actually used 2 sheets. And I showed how they could piece that together on a larger surface. And then we used the recycled stencil and the ledger stencil. And we also used the urn stencil. And we used the, I think this is the Joie de Roses transfer by IOD. And then we also had one that was more of a craft where they did, thank you, Kim, where they did some coasters for the holidays using one of the papers and the tinsel transfer. And that made it just super easy and fast. And I think sometimes that's also what we're looking for. It is wonderful to have a ton of time to create, but we just don't have that. And we certainly, when we do, we don't get it very often, right? And so here we have our background. This is another little project that this is a few of the little background papers, and this is another little project. So I thought we could start with giving even a little more texture to this. And so I thought I think I might even just use the whole stamp and we'll see what we get because we're going to be painting over some of it, right? And so I'm going to take, this is, oh gosh, which one is this? This is the ephemeral type stamp by IOD. And we are, I think I might, I don't know. I think I'm just going to take this little one. I think I'll just stamp up these and we'll go from there. So I'm going to use, this is a vintage photo, and I'm going to take this and we're just going to do a little stamping here. I'm just going to do this one a little bit over, and we'll just even add some more. I'm even going to come up just with that, and I'm not even going to push it. Well, yeah, I will. All right, so oops, I got to move that. Okay, so I'm going to push this down. Hopefully I inked it up enough. I might have to go with the brown, but I've got a little bit of texture in here. So I'm going to show you that where we have that little bit of text. And so you can go right over the papers and do it that way. And so we're going to just add a little more. I really like this subtle type that is in here. I really need to get a re-inker, you guys. Desperately, I need to get a re-inker. I'm going to go right up there and push that down. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's adding just even a little more texture. I can't use these stamps on my digital designs because the designs are not mine and they're copyrighted. And so I can use them on my papers on a finished project, but I cannot use them and then reproduce them digitally. So that's why we'll be able to show how to work with them like this. So we're going over that. And I just even love that. Just the little bit of text that comes out. This one needs to be re-inked. So we can use that. I've been making some of my own stamps. I've been learning lino cutting and making some of my own handmade stamps. And that's been really a lot of fun to do. And so I'm going to come here and I'm even going to have the text come this way and this way a little bit. So I'm happy with that. And that stamp set is done. And I'm just going to run the dryer over this and make sure that we're okay with that. Just like that. So I wanted to, so for right now, these papers are definitely digital. You are free to use them to make physical products that you sell, just like what we're doing here. Just like I am respecting IOD's copyright by not adding their work to something that I am creating digitally. Hi, Colleen. Thank you so much for joining and saying hello. That is the same concept. So the digital papers are available to you to print as often as you would like each month. Each time you can keep them forever. You are just, the thing that you're not allowed to do is to use them to create digital designs or digital products or redistribute them as is or with something like this, that you've done over. So you can't use them and create something and then make it into a digital product using these designs. Other than that, when you go to craft shows or you have booth spaces or you make something for yourself, you are absolutely welcome to use them and sell them having made something, a physical product with them. And so really that's the thing. And so let's do that. And I thought that I pulled out the croc stencil, which I love, but it's a little big. So I could, again, just like I did with the urn, kind of come off here, off the side. I could do that. And I think I'll do that. I usually go off to the left, but I'm going to do this instead. And so, but I think I want to use one of these other papers as my crock. And so let's decide on a paper that we are going to use. So again, these aren't the complete finished designs so I could definitely use this one, but I'm going to be using sunflowers. And so I want to use something that's a little more rustic. So I think of these two, I'm trying to think of what I want for the crock. And this one kind of speaks to me because of all of the texture in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stencil onto my paper, and then we're going to cut that out. And I'm going to have this come off the page here, just like this. And I think I'm even going to come down to the very bottom of this. And I'm going to use one of those little makeup blending brushes. And did I do this the right one? Yeah, I think so. So I'm going to use this vintage photo again, just to keep it light, because we'll probably paint in, and then I will do that. Yes, so it'll be, Shannon, we will do mixed media, kind of like we're doing now. And that was in the trial. I've considered doing an encaustic project as well. We will do with them. I have a fun project for starting off the new year, and that is a kind of mixed media and printable. We'll do a variety, yes, of us. Okay, so I have this, at least the outline here, and I'm going to use my scissors So it will be, it's just more focused. I come on live on my page and do tutorials, but it's just kind of whatever. And these are more succinct because one will be using a collection of papers and doing at least 2 to 3 projects every month. I say 2 to 3. It doesn't mean we won't do 4, but they're a little more involved. And so we wouldn't be able to do them in a single setting. But you will always have the projects available to you to go back and watch. So we will do a lot on in the Facebook group together, but I have a portal. It's the same one, Shannon, that you experienced in the encaustic collage class. Thanks again for taking that. And so that same portal is what we'll be using together. So I am going to go ahead and I could even use a glue stick on this because this ink does smear with because it is a little bit of a distress ink. So I may, for now, let's see if I've got a glue stick. I do. I'm going to use a glue stick on this, you guys. And so, Shannon, it's 4 to 6 different papers in a collection. So all of the papers will work together, just like I'm kind of demonstrating here. And they will work together, and then you will be able to use what you want. You can use the same papers I'm using. You could choose different ones, but I will show you how the collections work. And we'll be printing them on a variety of substrates. And there will be 2 to 3 tutorials every month and the collection every month. And we'll have a Facebook. I really am not wanting to put my membership kind of subscription. I don't want to rely on Facebook, but right now it's what we all use. And like I said, I'm trying to get to a single platform, but I'm just not there yet. I have lots of good platforms for different things, but none of them right now seems to do everything. So that's what it is. And I do have the link to sign up. I'd love for you to join us. So now we have our crock in place. And again, we're going to be doing some things to this, but now we also already have the texture built in. So we wouldn't have to paint this if we didn't want to, because it's just done. And so that's saving supplies, that's saving time. And now I hope this isn't going to be too huge. I know the sunflower stamp is super huge. So I may have needed to think a little bit better about that. But that's okay. I'm going to get these out. They were so big. Oh, you guys, I may have chosen the wrong stamps to work with, but we'll just figure it out. Okay. So I have, it's going to be a lot bigger than my crock, but I'm okay with that. I may even just need like 1 or 2 little stems. And I think we could make that work. So let me see if this would take up the whole thing. I don't want to make it look like it's too, overpowering, but I think I'm going to start here and then we'll do the rest. So I'm going to start down here and we'll do that. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. Again, I'm using the vintage photo. I'm using the vintage photo and the archival ink because it dries a lot faster. The IOD ink is permanent and I love it, but it does take longer to dry. And so I'm going to use this. So I'm going to set this down and I'm just going to turn it kind of like this. I do have a plan, guys. I've got a plan. All right. So I'm going to set this down. And again, I really do need to re-ink this thing. This pad. I need to get a re-inker for sure, right? Okay, I can see that. So that's good. And then I think I'm going to do I'm going to see. I made a mask for this one because I was using it for several things. And so I wanted to do that, but let's do another one. I don't know. Do you think that'll be too funky? We're just going to do it, you guys. We're just going to do it. We are going to just play a little bit here and see what we get, okay? But our crock is already done. We'll add some embellishments to it. Oh my goodness, Tracy, how are you? My friend from Rhapsody Art Barn. Thank you so much for saying hello and joining me. All right, let's just do another one and then we can just do some leaves. I think I'll turn this one a little bit. All right, so I've masked off that area so that this one's going behind. See if I get this on here. I don't know how this is going to look, but we're going to, it's going to look fine. Actually, it's just going to look fine, right? It's going to look fine. Okay. And then I think I'm going to we'll add the leaves a little bit later, or do I just want to do that now? I think I'll get a little confused about my lines because they're not super dark. So I'm going to move some things out of the way and the papers and all of that so I don't get them messed up. I've got a little stuff going on over here. And so what questions do you have about Canvas Muse or the subscription or the idea? Are you comfortable printing things? Do you work with a lot of printables? I'd love to know. So what I have, I've got some palette paper here and a little, so I'm going to be working off a little bit to the side. I don't have my water with me and I'm not going to stop to get it. So I'm just going to pray I have enough in this for us to work with. So I have a couple of colors here. I'm going to start with, I have this Winsor & Newton acrylic. This is a Galleria acrylic, and this is in yellow ochre. I should have gotten out my wet palette, but I did not. And I've got a little cadmium yellow medium. I'm going to add that as well. I'm going to be very traditional in my sunflower colors. I'll probably add a little bit of orange later, and then I'm going to add a little titanium white over here as well. Okay, more paint than I'm going to need, but that's okay. So I'm going to get out my paint brushes, and we're just going to start. I'm going to start with the leaves so that I get, and I'm going to mix a little of the colors together. And I'm going to start by just painting over this. I've sealed the paper, so I don't have to worry too much about any of that nonsense, you know, of it like hurting the paper. I'm going to go a little brighter in here. I want to pay attention and let my stamp lines show through. I'm going to add a little brighter in there. This will take me the longest because I will layer paint and layer paint and layer paint. It's just kind of what I do. But the opacity of the acrylic paint that I'm working with allows, it depends. If I do several layers, then it's going to cover it up really well. Since I don't have water here, I'm going to have to use this. But see what I mean about not using my leaves? And I'm going to need my stamp to kind of see where I am here. I'm going to use this to, how did I do that? How did I do that? How did I do it? All right, well, we're going to go with this one and then we'll figure that one out. So I might have needed to just start with one, paint that in, and then go from there. But I'm trying to vary my colors a little bit, and I will go in and blend again and again and add more color to this. I'm going out here, and then we're going to figure out where my overlap is. So I'm just going to get these leaves colored in. We'll add some oranges and rusts. But I do love that the background is complete. Oh, that's wonderful, Shannon. I'm so glad you can get it figured out. Thank you for being brave. I know that that's the biggest I know that that is the hurdle for a lot of people, is that they're worried about being able to print. But even in the trial, I gave the print settings and all of that I use. It's once you get the hang of it, it's definitely doable. And I don't know about you, but I love the idea of fresh inspiration. It's just, I think it's why we get so excited about new product releases and that type of thing, because it's like, ooh, yay, something new to create with. I don't even know if this leaf was supposed to be like this, but it is now. I didn't want to go too dark with my ink. Um, but you can see that we can paint right over this. I'm going to see if I can get some more here. And again, I'm just using acrylic paint. If you wanted to do this with watercolor, you would use a watercolor ground over the paper, a transparent watercolor ground. And I'm going to add a little bit of white in here just to keep those separated, because again, I am going to go in. It makes such a difference, even just when you blend a little white, right? All of a sudden they start to make sense and they start to come to life when we start layering, right? Printing is instant gratification. And again, I really wanted to go on a print on demand. I have a lot of changes coming up in my business, some of which you guys are going to be a little shocked, but I know it's the right thing to do. And so I am going to be giving up a product line. And I'll say it's not recycled treasures, but I'm going to be giving up a product line. And not that I won't use it, but I've been I have been wrestling with this decision in my business and the direction that I wanted to go for a long time. And I'm sure those of you that have been with me a long time, it's not a surprise to you, because I know that you've seen me kind of wrestle with it. And it's really funny because I really got started in my business. Well, I mean, I started an official business and I painted signs. But what I've really been doing for a really long time is painting a lot. And it's really funny because physically right now that hasn't been really possible for a little while. And that caused me to really stop and think, like, what is that trying to tell me? Maybe if I'm not, moving in the direction that I really want to, then maybe that is just, I don't know, my body, God, whatever, saying, you really need to pause and consider this, because I feel like I have the most to share and create when I'm creating from a place of joy. And, don't we all, right? So anyway, I have some big changes. I'm not ready to spill those right now, but I will share those with you. But I really want to pour myself into this and the art that I love to do that I don't always share because it feels so too far from my business, or at least what my business has been. And I think that's silly because I think, you know, we don't all always just we don't always all just stick with one thing forever and ever and ever, right? For me, that would be incredibly boring. And ah, thank you, Shannon. I really appreciate that. I'm so glad. That makes it worth sharing then. If it helps somebody else, I'm really I'm so grateful. That makes it worth it because it's a little hard to be vulnerable and put yourself out there in a public space. And um, it's not an easy thing to do. I think we all think by everybody that does it it that it must be easy, and then we wonder why it isn't for us. But I promise you, it's not. Everybody experiences doubt. But I know that for probably the last year and a half, oh my gosh, especially when I came back from having my own retreat. And I loved so much creating with those ladies and doing something that was just different and exploring, things that I don't even think they were expecting. And we all just learned so much together and shared so much together. And I felt that I was coming from a place that just felt good and authentic and um, true. But I've been afraid to make the leap. Um, Even though I do things privately, I've been afraid to take that leap because it just seems so far off of what I built my business on. And then I've decided that that is ridiculous. So anyway, there you go. All right. So let's see if I can line this up, you guys. I think I can because I need to see kind of where this is. Yeah, I can see this now. Okay. So you can lay your stamp down. I used this little guy over here as my reference. So anyway, I have been doing art. I do love all the different things. I have been exploring so many things that I'm excited to share. And this Canvas Muse this was a big step for me because this was stepping into um, the stream that I've had and this space that I want to work in. And so that was a big deal. Am I being too mushy? So sorry. Thank you, Tracy. I really appreciate that. Oh my gosh, I feel the same about you. I was so glad that we finally got to meet and in person. I'm so grateful for that. So right now, I'm really just kind of moving paint around. And at the same time, I am wishing that I had stamped in a different color. If you want to know the truth, I'm sitting here saying, Michelle, you really should have done this in black. This would have made this so much easier. But you know what? If I add a leaf that went there, okay, so be it, right? We're just going to make it look like it was always meant to be there. There are no mistakes. There are just opportunities, right? To learn and to do something a little differently. So I will still be doing, you know, a weekly live on my Facebook page, but where, and it's not that I don't, um, that I'm not grateful for everybody who is here and follows. I am so grateful. And so it is not that at all. It's just that if you're asking somebody to pay you, to trust you enough, because I know resources are, not infinite. And so I just really want to make sure that I'm focusing and serving both my audience that's here on my page, but in the group as well. So it's interesting, Shannon. You'll find this interesting. So I did like start to explore with oil paints. What I've really started to do with them is make my own encaustic paints and colors and pigments and that type of thing. So um, oil pastels definitely I have used, but I have not been painting with oils. So that is something I would like to explore at some point, but it is not something that I, feel that I would really have much to offer. So, in that, but it is definitely something, Shannon, I love all the things. So I am just, you guys, these aren't my final leaves, but I want you to get an idea of us being able to paint right on top of this paper and how that works. And so I will say in the Canvas Muse that some of the January, there may be quite a bit pre-recorded because I am finally scheduled to get my first procedure done on, those of you that have been with me and know, and have been so kind and loving and supportive. Thank you. So I am going to finally, I'm scheduled. So for the first one is going to be January 8th. And so I will be prepared and I will probably, it's not a long recovery at all for that one. The second one, which is going to come several weeks later, is going to require PT. But they assure me, that I'm going to be great. And I can't wait to be out of pain. And this has been a really, I don't you guys, I can barely go get my hair colored because I have to sit for so long in one place. And the sweet stylist that does my hair is always like, she always says, okay, it's going to be about an hour and a half, or it's going to be about 2 hours. And she always makes sure I have magazines and I, have all the things because, having to sit still that long, it's funny. I can, paint and lose myself in, creating, but making me sit or not be able to do something that I want to do is really oh my gosh, it's just awful. So and I'm so grateful that I am actually in a situation where I am going to be just fine and that there is a remedy for what's going on. So we've got our leaves. I'm very, very grateful that I did not stamp those leaves too, because I really think they would have ended up yellow for sure. And so I'm going to do a little bit. I'm trying to think. I really don't want like a black center in this. So let me see what I've got for some brown. I'm just going to come over here. I have this one. I could just do a little burnt umber. We could do that, and I can add a little yellow to it, or we'll just use this on there. So I think oil paints are intimidating, Shannon. I think they're very intimidating. I think the thing that concerns me is that they take so long to dry. So if I can dispel that myth, because maybe that's not really true, maybe they don't take as long as I think that they will, then maybe I'll be all over it. But the dry time is not something I'm super thrilled about. So here, instead of doing brush strokes, I am tapping in my paint, because you know how it has like the little seeds in the center, and I'm going to go a little darker in here. And I always like to say that, you know what? There is such a style as impressionistic or abstract or something like that. So that's what I say to myself when I always say that a lot of times, like, oh, well, you know what? We'll just call it impressionistic. We'll just call it abstract or an idea or something like that. Yes, and oh, thank you, Shannon. And the maintenance of the brushes too is a lot for oil painting. Tracy, if you're still here, do you work with oils? I wouldn't be surprised if you did. You work with so many mediums. I don't know if Tracy's still here, but I'd love to know who here does work with oils. Anybody? It's really a I mean, you really do get a quality in the work that you don't get. Just like acrylics isn't the same as watercolor, although you can get. Okay, I've got a lot of brown on my brush there, so I want to be careful. So let's go a little bit lighter. I'm going to get a little bit of this and a little bit of the white, just a little bit. And we're just going to kind of come out here. That's not going to be dark enough. I'm just going to kind of, we can all tell that this is the center of my, right? Okay, that was supposed to be yellow for sure. So I'm going to get in there and, ugh, okay, I really messed that one up. I'll have to let that dry and then go over it again. Oh, maybe not. And then I'll just get some of that to go here. So, okay, so we saved that. That was really good. And I don't think Tracy's still here, but I'm going to ask her if she does oils at all. I've seen some beautiful work with it, but I have been using the oil paints to make encaustic paints. That's something that I think we would definitely do in the membership, because that is something I'm always, it was in April that I did the encaustic course, and I'm always cognizant of, keeping that, uh, you know, for the students that tried it or purchased it. So anyway, but we can do something else, because that was really all about encaustic collage. And there's so much more you can do with encaustic. So I'm just going to come in here. I'm going to use the tip of my brush. So I like to use the bottom of my paintbrushes. So I'm using two different kinds of acrylics. One is a Winsor Newton Galleria. It's this one. I think it's backwards. It's not mirroring, but Galleria, Galleria, acrylic. So both of these are the KDM yellow medium and the yellow ochre are Winsor Newton, but my white is Liquitex Basics. So I use a variety. I use some colors from Five Below, from a set that I got from Five Below. I do love these Galleria acrylics, though. I really so have started using. My husband took me to last month. He took me on a field trip, and we have a Blick art store in DC, and it's about 25 minutes from us. And oh my gosh, you guys, it was like my version of Disney World. It was fabulous, and it was even a store, right? Because gosh, real estate in DC is like at a premium. And so it was a smaller, they had Golden, they had Liquitex, they had their own brand. And so I purchased a few colors of they have a Blick, it's a matte acrylic. So you know how acrylic has a sheen to it, right? And but it is truly a matte, and they had beautiful metallic, all of that. Oh gosh, you guys, I was in heaven. And so I'm really excited and because I do instruction, because I teach classes on things, I get the little education discount. And so that was really fun. And so, and I said, "Are you sure? Because I don't teach in a school. I just like I teach, I craft and I paint and I do, and I do courses." And they said, "Yep, that's great because you're teaching how to use our products and other products and super super fun papers. They're substrates. They're oh my gosh, you guys, everything. Oh, and Shannon, you will die. They had Yes Paste for so much less than we get it on Amazon. So I was thrilled about that because that Yes Paste is fabulous, but man, it's expensive. So anyway, all right. So here sunflowers, right? These are my rough sunflowers. I want to put I want to put at least one leaf in here. Okay, at least one. And so let's do that. Yes, the whole year has gone by so fast, Shannon. It has gone by so fast. And I'm trying to see if we have any other questions about. We kind of stopped talking about the Canvas Muse because we're doing a demonstration of it. And so I hope that this is an idea of some of the things. So we won't always be doing mixed media. We will be doing, some of the home decor, but definitely a lot of like, we will do paper piecing, working on fabric, and we will be painting, and we will be doing all of that. So again, if any of you are in the trial just popped on, I want to say thank you again so very much. I have to dry that actually. So my little dots here. So the tip of your paintbrush makes the perfect little seed kind of thing. Thank you so much, Colleen. Thank you. The tip of your paintbrush perfectly for little dots and things like that. And again, I'm going to keep working on my leaves, but I always like to have white. I typically will also have a dark color next to me. It's usually black, but in this case, it would probably be the brown. And I just mix the colors. I am not. I have a friend that is a one-stroke paint certified artist. So that isn't what I do, but I do pick up. I like to pick up both colors of paint, right? And oh, don't worry about it. It's okay. I will say that the projects that were in the trial will also be available when they subscribe. So the trial ended and they're not accessible right now. But in the when this goes live on the 21st, then those tutorials are going to be in there for sure. So you'll get to see those too. All right, so I think this is dry enough that at least put a mask over it and not ruin my dots. I'm so glad I thought of that. Now I do have a little, like I can see my paper here. And so what I'm going to do is mix up a little bit of my modeling paste and I'm going to go over that and cover that. So I'll show you that in a second. And then now I got to figure out how to line this up again. Hold on. I think I'm here. Yeah, it doesn't. Oh, you know what it is? It's because I took license and did add a couple of leaves that weren't meant to be there. That's okay. But I probably ought to ink this again. And then we're going to do a little green. And then I'll answer any questions that you have. Again, if you're interested, the subscription link is in the comments. And okay, let me do, how do I want to do I want to do this leaf over here? I think I'm going to do this leaf over here. Does that look about, let's see, I don't want to go, no, that's all kind of going like that. So I'm going to come off and we're going to pull this out a little bit. So if you have versions of the stamps, then you're going to know that what am I trying to say? That you can make a paper a paper thing. I think I might have gone frozen. I hope not. Okay. So I'm going to do this and I'm going to pick up some greens. I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use this one. Did I go? Could somebody let me know if I'm still live or did I freeze? I don't know. I might have frozen. I'm not sure. Okay. Let's go with, I'm going to go, that is a sap green. All right. I'm going to try these two different colors. I'm going to try a sap green. Ooh, that is way too much paint. But that's okay. All right. Am I frozen? If somebody could let me know, that would be great. Let me see. Let's see if I'm frozen. Okay, I don't know. All right, if somebody could let me know, that would be great. Oh, it's good. Okay, great. All right, so I'm gonna mix a little sap green and then I'm gonna mix a little bit of this. This is green gold, but it's very transparent. So this is actually a master's touch, which means that I also bought paint at Hobby Lobby. They carry the master's touch. And I actually like this paint when it is on sale, so I wait that. So this is the Sap Green by Master's Touch from Hobby Lobby, and this is the Green Gold from Golden. And so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to mix a little bit. I don't know if this is going to work. They don't seem like they would be good colors together, but we're going to see what we could get. I just want to lighten that sap green up because it's so dark, and then maybe just add a touch of white. Hi guys, my family just came home, and so I'm getting kind of an olive green. So I'm just going to play with this again. I'm going to mix the colors and not worry too much. I'm just going to start mixing in. I've got a little white in there. It's not completely done, and I'm going to come in and instead of just like going around and filling in, I'm going to kind of come between these stamped lines and move my brush in a way that goes with the direction of the leaves. And I think that helps me maintain like the veining in the leaf, and it makes the motion of it a lot better. Okay, so I'm going to come down here. I've got some dark. Again, I'm just kind of moving my brush, coming back in with that dark. And it's really great when you can do it and the other paint is wet, because then you get that great blending, right? And you get that. And so by just going in, I want to go with the tip of my brush. Again, I don't have my water, so it's not going super well. And then I'm just going to kind of come up here and just squeeze a little paint along those edges. I'm going to add a little bit of white just to make that work. Okay. And then I'll pick up some of that lighter color again and bring that in. Again, I'm just going to add color until I get it. So I feel like I just ruined it. And I can always do a wash of color as well. But I just want a lot of variation of color, right? And so you just keep adding until you get it where you want it, right? So to me, that's looking pretty good. And so I'm going to add a little bit of water to some of this brown stuff that I've got going on. And I'm going to pick up a small, let's see if I've got a small I've got a little small angle brush. This is a number 4. And I'm going to spritz a little bit of water. Ooh, not at me. But in this brown and yellow mixture that I did up here. Okay. And let's just add a little bit of, I'm going to need more water than that. Add a little white because I don't want it to be, that's not quite right either. Shadowing is something that I really want to work on. It's something that I feel would make a huge difference in my work. But I'm just going to come in here and add some of that. I think you get like the idea, right? Okay, we're going to do here. And I'm just going to kind of come in here and then I'm just going to do a wash of color that isn't kind of darkening this, right? But I don't want it to have a line. So it's got a little bit of a line here that just looks a little forced. So I'm just going to kind of come in here. And now I think for tonight that this is, I did want to show you, maybe I'll save this and we'll do a part 2 or something. But what I will do with the, let's see if I can do just this really quick, because I know so many of us, when we're layering papers or layering stamped images, or we paint right over a paper, we get this obvious line here. I don't know if you can see that. So right here, you can definitely see where that's coming through. And this is what I want to show you, how you can address it. If I can find my molding paste, we'll do that really quick. And, where's my molding paste? Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on, guys. I got my matte gel, soft gel, gesso, clear matte gel. I have too many things, you guys. Can anybody relate to that? All right, but I found it. All right, so this is just golden molding paste. And I'm going to just take a little bit of it. And I like to mix my molding paste into my paint. And I do that because the molding paste dries a little too, it's harder to paint. It's harder to get the right color that you want. If you just do on your molding paste. And am I making any sense? I don't even know if I'm making any sense, you guys. I'm just talking and I don't know if I'm making any sense. I hope you're following me. If I were just to take this and dip it into my molding paste and scrape it on there, yes, I'm going to address this, but the color isn't going to look the way it does now. And I don't know why, because it's really, it dries a little opaque. It's just not the same. So I have learned that if I just mix it in with my paint, then I get better results. So that's just me. You try it, see what you think. But I want to show you how I'm going to do this. So here's a line that I want to address. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to turn my palette knife off kind of to the side like this, and I'm going to lift some up. And I'm going to come right in here. Like, see, here's one that's like that. And I'm not going to push too hard. And then I'm just going to add some more texture. But now all of a sudden that crease is there. And I'll probably do this over the other leaves because it's really giving some really pretty dimension. If you can see that. Thanks, Shannon. It's just so you can see it also gives it some texture, some more texture. So you could also do this with a brush. I like the palette knife a lot. It just, because I think it just gives such a, you don't have as much control over it. So it just kind of, I don't know. I feel like I say organic too often, but it really is kind of, it just gives an organic thing. So I'm loving that so much. We're just going to take a little bit of this and we're going to scrape a little bit of this into our, I do love to paint with a palette knife. I think that there is something, and I want to make sure that I'm getting right up in there, especially I'm just going to lay some down right where that paper meets. And it is no longer a noticeable thing, right? Okay, so now we're just adding, I said we were going to be done, and now look what I've done. All right, so I'm coming in here. It also helps to give a little more definition to my leaves. I'm using a really tiny, this is, it's called what's the brand? It's New Age, and it's a number 01. But by just adding this little bit of texture, we're addressing that crease, and you can see the difference. So I'm going to stop right there because you can see where we've got that texture and where we don't. So there's a lot, there's so much more, right? We can just keep going. But we're going to stop for tonight. My family just got home a little bit ago, and they've been gone all day. And I know you've got things to do too. So I hope this demo of the Canvas Muse by Design papers helped. I hope that oh, thanks, Shannon. Thank you so much. So I did make notes. So I just wanted to say, I think I've shared with you why I designed it, and the problem that it solves is just to save time and gain support and have something ready at your fingertips. And I didn't want to just send you digital prints and say, go off and do your thing. I really feel that as creatives that the majority of us really do love community. And so I'm really looking forward to that aspect, probably more than anything. And so it is a subscription. You can cancel at any time. And oh my gosh, thank you so much, Shannon. Thank you. So it is going to be a coordinated collection. So each of the 4 to 6 papers that you receive, and again, it doesn't mean you won't receive more. Sometimes you'll receive 4, and sometimes it'll be like, oh, but they really need this too. So it'll be a little extra. So 4 to 6 is what I'm saying. And then we'll have 2 to 3 tutorials. And we will have a private Facebook group. The lives will live there for a month, I think, and then it's all going to move to that portal. So I'm just trying to get a little bit of automation on that done, but we're just going to do it. We're going to be in a couple of places. We'll have the Facebook group, etc. It is $27 a month until the first of the year, at least, and I would just welcome you to be there and come. And again, to those of you that were in the trial, thank you so much. And thank you especially for the feedback. Those of you that had a chance to hit the reply button, and I really, really appreciate it. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you have any questions, please let me know. I know we were on here a long time, and I'm so grateful for all of you. I will see you. I'll see you next week. I think it's Wednesday is next. So today's Saturday. So anyway, thank you, thank you, thank you. And let me know if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them. And again, the doors, the it all goes live on the 21st. So um, I will see you soon. Happy creating. Take care, everybody. And thanks for joining me tonight. All right. Bye bye, everybody.